Okay, so this is the Python exercise on PY4E for 6.5. Write code using find and string slicing to extract the number at the end of the line below. And we want to convert it to a floating point number and print it out. So there's three things we're doing here. So I'm just going to write a comment. First, we need to find, then we need to slice the string, and then we need to convert, and lastly we need to print. I'm sure you know what to do to print. That's pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and just pretend we have something here. I'm going to say print number. And now it's going to yell at me because number doesn't exist. Number is not real. It doesn't know what number is. So we need a variable to store the number. So number equals 0.8475. Obviously, this is not what we want. We want to find the number, take it out of the string, convert it, so that way we can get to 0.875. So I'm actually going to move this down here, and we're going to get to that. First, what does find do? If we type in text and we say dot, type in find, we can see this little box over here to the side. Now this box says string.find sub start end. Don't look at the rest yet. We see sub start end. These are three parameters. Okay, I know find needs up to 3 parameters. We can look in here and it can give us a little bit more details. See this little square bracket? That tells us that it's an optional parameter. We don't need to start. And if we do, we don't need an end. But we may. This tells us that it returns an integer. But the goal here to recognize is, when we open parenthesis, what's the substring we want to find? Where do we want to start? Where do we want to end? Well, we want to end at the end of the string. We want to search the entire string, so we don't need an end. And we want to start at the beginning, so we don't need to start. So the question is, what's the substring we want to find? Do we want to find this letter X? Do we want to find dspam? Do we want to find confidence? Well, we want is this number, right? We want this number. That's what we want to do. So we could, I guess we could just do the entire number, 0.8475. That's possible. Another option is, what's the first character of this? 0. So we can just say text.find 0, but text.find 0 is cool and all. It doesn't do anything. It returns a number. We're not saving the value. So we're going to say index of found number equals text find 0. Now really quickly, I'm going to go down here into the console. I'm going to go to the assignment I'm working on here. I'm going to go ahead and set it up so I can actually run it, and we run it. And so right now what it's doing is it's doing this, and then it's doing this, and you can see it's just printing the number. But what we're going to do, instead of printing the number, we're going to print the index of found number. This will give us an index, 23. We're going to go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. 23. 23 put us right here. This is position 23. This is position 23. So when I was counting, this was actually 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Technically, it's at 0. So this is, it started at 0 here, gets up to 23 here, right? So when we say index of found number, we get 23. We have found the variable. Now we need to string slice. String slicing is like accessing an array. I'm not sure if you know what an array is, but an array would look something like a collection, a series of numbers or values. So if we have, let's go ahead and say random numbers. I'm just making some stuff off the top of my head. 10, 5, See how it's inside square brackets? This is an array. And we can, and each array, so I'll say, this is an array. And this is position 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And random numbers dot length. Oh, right, it's Python, so technically it's actually the len of random numbers array. Right, that's going to be 5 because there's 5 items in the array. And we can access each item by going random numbers at position. When I say at position, I mean put these square brackets here. So at position 0. What is random numbers at position 0? That's 10. What's random numbers array? Random numbers array at position 3. Oh, sorry, 4. That's 5. If you look over here, position 0, the value is 10. Position 4, the value is 5. Right? What's if we say text, which we have up here, at position 0? Or text at position 4? What is this? Right? Technically, all strings are just arrays. The contents of a string are essentially the contents of an array. And you can access the contents of an array by using this square bracket. That will let you access the contents of a string as well. So this returns x because x is the 0th position. What does this return? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The letter P. Remember we started at 0. What does this return? Now I'm using 23 because we've got 23 returned here. We printed 23 the last time we ran it. We've printed the value of index of found number. Index of found number. It's 23. What's 23? We already counted 23. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 23 is 0. So this, if we say text at position 23, we get 0. But the issue is we've found 23, but we don't want to hard code 23. Just like we hard code this, we don't want to hard code number equals the number and print it. We don't want to do that. We don't want to hard code 23. Luckily, we have a variable. What happens if we were to do text at position index of found number? What is this? Text at position index of found number. Well, index of found number, what is that? Let's evaluate it. What is the variable value? Index of found number. What's its value? 23. So the program is going to go ahead and understand that the value is 23, replace that before it does anything else. Then it's going to run the entire line. Oh, you wanted to find the text at position 23. All right, well that's 0. Technically it's in the string. It's still a string, so I'll go ahead and change this to also a string here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clean some of this up here. We don't need any of this anymore. And we know that text at position index of found number is 0. So what's string slicing, though? We know that we can access a string as if it's an array by accessing it using this kind of square bracket notation. String slicing is when you use the square brackets with some colons. This is the start. This is the stop or end. I like to say stop because it starts with an S. This is the step. 3 things to remember string slicing. Strings slice with start, stop, and step. You do the syntax is name of the string, whatever the variable is. What's the name of the variable? What position do you want to start at? I want to start at position 3. I want to go to position 10, and I want to get there. How? How many times? How do I want to get there? By 1. So step by 1. This is going to go ahead and give me 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. Which if we did text 3, 10, 1. I should print this really quickly as well. I'll print this after I'm done writing it. We should get 0, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. So right here, I'm going to do 3, 10, 1. Now, 1's actually the default value for step. start is default at 0, stop is default at end of string, and step is default at 1. So if it's default 1, I don't need to provide it. This means start, stop. We're going to start at 3 and go to 10. And I'm going to say new. I'm going to say substring equals. But I'm just going to go ahead and print the substring. Running the code here. Spam code. Yeah, that's what I came up with. So you start at position 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. I'll count that again. 0, 1, 2, 3. Go to position 10, counting by step. Go to the end, counting by step. 1, 1, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, interesting. Interesting. So you don't actually get to position 10, because if we did 10, what is position 10? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ah, okay. So n is 10, but we don't actually include position 10. So it does exclude position 10. There's more to this than just what's written here. You don't have to provide every item. As you notice, I didn't provide that. What happens if I say text 3 colon? Now, because why am I leaving a colon here? This is really weird, right? What does this mean? Well, text position 3 is going to give me a character. It's going to give me the letter S. But if I put a colon here, it knows it's going to slice the string. It's going to slice the string where it starts at 3 and it stops at the end of the string. This will actually return to me everything from spam onward, all the way up to the number I want, 75. Right. What's if I did text 3 colon 2? This says start at 3, go to end of string, step by 2, which will give me the result of SA hyphen O F D N E space 087. Should give us this. Let's go ahead and try it and see what happens. Well, did you look at that? Start at 3, go to the end of the string, step by 2. You can even go negative, but we won't be talking about that right now. Right now, what we want is to start here and go to the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this to you. My hope is that you're able to do this on your own. I'm gonna, if you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video. But for now, I'm going to delete this, type in some filler text for this comment here, and move on. All right? So at some point, we're going to say substring equals what? And it's going to give you this value. Now we need to convert substring's value from the string to a floating point number. How do we convert to a floating point number? Well, it's actually not too hard. There are multiple types of floating point numbers. There's float, decimal, not decimal, sorry, double, long, etc. There's other things as well. Now, it does say floating point number, so let's just convert it to a float. The syntax for converting is new variable name equals type that you want to convert it to, open parenthesis, variable to convert. According to this, all we need to do is, what's the name of the variable? Number. I'm going to comment this out because that's what we're going to use. Equals, what type do we want? You can look up here if you need to know. Convert the instructed out to a floating point number. So we can say float. What are we converting? What's the variable we want to convert? What variable do we convert? We need to know what variable to convert. And then you'll print number. So just to review, up here we have the text, blah, 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 index of found number, text.find 0. That's going to find the index of the 0 position. You need to somehow get a substring using string splicing. This is the format of it. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to stop? And if it's the end, do you omit this line, this section? New variable name equals type variable to convert. We're going to convert it to a float. So what's the name of the variable we want to convert? Normally, this would convert a string to a float. And then you just want to print it out. All right, I hope that's good enough. Let me know if you have any questions.